In an interview, Lando Norris of McLaren said that he can understand teammate Daniel Ricciardo's struggles with the team's MCL36 car this season, but that he too struggled to get to grips with the 2022 machine. But why did he say that? What struggles did Norris have to go through? Stick to the end of the video to find out. Without further ado, let's get straight into this. Norris and Ricciardo, now in his second season with McLaren, have had very different starts to the 2022 season. The Briton has 64 points, including a podium at Imola, while Ricciardo has 17 points, including a P6 in Australia. Norris was asked if he understood Ricciardo's difficult start to life in 2022 at the Red Bull Ring, where both drivers finished in the points last weekend. Ricciardo has struggled since joining McLaren at the start of the 2021 season, despite winning the Italian Grand Prix that year. The Australian driver only finished in the top 10 4 times in the first 11 races this season. McLaren Racing CEO Zak Brown said on Sky Sports, "Any driven Monday show in May. Short of Monza and a few races, it's generally not met his or our expectations, as far as what we were expecting. Ricciardo's future has been a topic of discussion in recent times." However, Brown recently clarified his remarks, stating that his and Ricciardo's relationship had never been better and that the onus was on McLaren to provide Ricciardo and Norris with a car that would allow them to compete at the front of the grid. To put an end to all the rumors, Ricciardo took to social media to announce his intention to stay with the team into next year, with Ricciardo contracted until the end of 2023, and to insist that he and McLaren were working hard to return to the front of the grid. "There have been a lot of rumors about my future in Formula 1, but I want you to hear it from me," Ricciardo, who finished 9th in the Austrian Grand Prix on Sunday, wrote. "I am committed to McLaren until the end of next year and will not leave the sport. It hasn't always been easy, but who wants easy? I'm working my tail off with the team to improve the car and get back to the front where it all belongs. This is something I want more than ever. Let's meet in Le Castellet. Daniel." Ricciardo's remarks come after McLaren gave IndyCar star Colton Herta a 2-day test as part of their testing of previous cars or TPC program, during which he drove their 2021 spec McLaren MCL35 around Portugal's Autodromo International do Algarve in Portimão, with some viewing the American driver as a potential McLaren F1 driver for the future. "I understand certain aspects of it. The rest, I just focus on myself, and that's all. As much as I'm willing to assist, offer advice, and answer questions, I don't go out there solely to do so. I still have to concentrate on my race and try to finish 6th to get good points. It's a balancing act. Some things I understand, others not so much. Because I feel like our car is a difficult car to drive. I think our characteristics, which he's also had over the past few years, are quite specific and unique, and as Carlos said, some of the driving styles you need are not ones you kind of grow up learning, so you have to adapt quite a bit. Especially this year, the car is very different, and some of last year's characteristics are gone, and we've introduced some new ones, so I've had to change my driving style. At the same time, I had to adjust to it. It's not just because I've been with McLaren for 4 years that I know everything there is to know about this car. I probably struggled with my driving style a little more at the start of the season than Daniel did in the first few tests, and I feel like I had to adapt quite a bit." Norris reasoned that Ricciardo may still be experimenting with the MCL36's characteristics because he prefers a more stable front end. "Some of my emotions do not translate to his emotions, and how we drive the cars differs slightly. I prefer a car with, I don't mind as much instability from the car and can kind of push on the front more. And he prefers a car that is a bit more stable and made with a little more understeer." The Orange team will arrive in France 4th in the constructor standings, level on points with Alpine, who are preparing for their and Esteban Ocon's home race on July the 22nd to the 24th. Ricciardo admitted that he used to be concerned about racing hard against a best friend on the grid. While the Australian has put that to the test in previous partnerships, rumors of friction with Lando Norris last year suggest that they are not necessarily a close-knit pairing. Ricciardo, on the other hand, has confirmed that their working relationship improved at the start of 2022. Last year, there were rumblings of discontent between Ricciardo and Norris, with the latter finishing as the top dog in the McLaren garage. It rarely spilled over onto the track though, and they came away from Monza with a historic 1-2, with the Aussie taking a triumphant race win. They remain one of the more intriguing collaborations, with both attracting fans due to their respective personalities, even if sparks have yet to fly on a friendship level. Our off-track interests are very different. He's more into wine, clothes and stuff, whereas I'm more into golf, esports and that sort of thing. Norris said earlier this year to motorsport.com, "One thing is clear, you need to spend time together and have fun, and golf is one of those things that improved everything." When I was younger, I was less friendly with my competitors, he admitted. It's also what you grew up believing. I'm in this for myself. No nice guy will win. It's similar as you progress through the junior categories. Everyone is vying for a seat in F1, and there aren't many of them. But as I get older, I'm becoming more aware of the distinction between helmet-on Daniel and teamwork Daniel. I've learned through trial and error that I can be completely comfortable with someone while still racing them as hard as anyone else. I was afraid that if I had a best friend on the grid, I wouldn't do these big overtakes on them, because I'd be too nice. That, however, is not the case. Working well with a teammate also benefits you individually and as a team, as I discovered through experience. Lando and I are actually quite good. Last year, some media outlets attempted to push a narrative that I believe was more focused on results. He was doing much better than I was, and they expected it to cause tension and friction. But no, it's fine. It's a lot better in year 2 because we've gotten to know each other better. Norris has amassed an impressive 64 points this season, aided by a podium finish at Imola. Meanwhile, Ricciardo has yet to improve his P6 finish in Australia in April and has fallen significantly behind his younger teammate in the Drivers' Championship. Some reports suggest that Ricciardo may be forced to retire early if his results do not improve, but the 33-year-old insists that he has learned to enjoy the pressure and stress of retaining his F1 seat. Those emotions, as well as his McLaren partnership, will be put to the test this weekend at the French Grand Prix. The latest episode of Through the Visor features McLaren's Lando Norris, who discusses his first Formula 1 podium finish at the Austrian Grand Prix in 2020. Although Lewis Hamilton was ahead, the soon-to-be 7-time champion had been given a 5-second penalty, leaving Norris with a 5-second gap to close in the race's final stages if he was to score his first F1 podium. That's all for today. Please leave a like and share the video with your friends and family. Thank you for watching.